Okay, so I'm assuming my sound is working. Since usually when I think it is, it is. Hi, Sherry. Can you hear me okay? Um, anyway, I just wanted to make a few corrections and express a few thoughts. The other night when I did the classic and sincere live, I Sherry, put a one in the chat, please, if you can hear me. Okay, cool, good. I kind of went. Well, I said something that I don't think is quite correct now that I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking of the wording in the indictment documents. Everyone's kind of been running with this notion that based on the wording where the aggravating circumstances were that they induced a minor to participate in a felony or whatever, that means that the Wests forced the other children to actually um, harm or kill Classic and Sincere. And after thinking about it and listening to some other opinions, I just kind of wanted to correct myself because I don't want to run with like rumors or worst case scenario or just like scandalous stuff. That could indeed be as simple as making the children lie and say they didn't see anything or nothing happened, or making the kids say that they saw Classic and Sincere for Thanksgiving or something. It could possibly be as bad as them actually forcing the children to harm or kill Classic and Sincere. It could be as bad as them forcing the other children to help in cleaning up whatever the crime scene was, blood evidence, or hiding stuff, or throwing away things. But I just wanted to make that clear. Because of the wording of that document, it doesn't necessarily mean that they forced these children to actually participate in the homicides, per se. It could be other related things, helping them to move stuff, pack stuff into boxes, or whatever. Yeah, exactly, or to clean up or whatever. And so I really try to keep my channel even in speculation. I try to make sure that I present realistic possibilities, realistic speculation, um, and not get caught up in the, uh, just the craze, because we know these cases, especially cases like this, cases like Summer, cases like Cash Gernon, they tend to bring out the people who really want to like just blast the headlines and their titles with the scandalous, the outrageous, the hey, click on this and see this. And I don't want to be one of those channels. I want to keep it as close to factual as possible. Um, I think that's really the main thing that I wanted to address was that. Also, I was watching AV's live stream last night, and someone called him and told him that Trezell West was no longer showing up as being in the Kern County Jail or wherever it was that he was incarcerated. You remember we pulled up, well, we didn't, but on some other live streams they pulled up the information to show that Jackie and Trezell were incarcerated and showed their charges and all that stuff. Well, apparently someone pulled up that website during um, AV's live stream, and Trezell wasn't showing anymore. Jacqueline was, but Trezell wasn't. I have not checked it today myself. I probably should go check that real quick. I haven't checked it today myself, but there are two likely scenarios to why he is not showing up. One, it's my understanding that they have like a city jail there, or like a um, even if not as a city jail, but like where you get arrested and you're kind of like at a police station in a holding area or whatever, until you go to court and all that. I was listening to, and I can't remember his name, but I was listening to the live stream of a guy who actually lives there and has been incarcerated there, like in the jails, and he was explaining that they basically have two jail facilities. There's one like you get arrested and you go there, and it's basically like a city jail. And then after you go to your like first appearance and all that, then they transfer you to the actual county jail, which is called Lerdo, Lerdo. So it could be that Trezell was transferred from the city jail, and I'm just going to refer to it as the city jail because that's what that guy called it, was transferred from the city jail to the county jail. And so he's not showing up on the city jail page because he's no longer there, but he may not have been, his information at that time may not have been inputted into the system at the county jail, so he may not have showed over there either. He was kind of in transit between the two. The second realistic option is that he pulled an Epstein, or someone pulled an Epstein on him. However you want interpret that. In that case, he wouldn't show up either. But if that second were the case and he was no longer in this world, then I am 100% certain that that information would have been made public. So it is most likely that the only reason he wasn't showing is because he was being transferred from one facility to another. The guy went on to explain that just because Trezell may have been transferred doesn't mean that Jackie would have automatically been transferred at the same time, because they'll actually be going to do two different facilities or two different parts of the same facility, because of course they don't house men and women together in jail or prison. So I'm going to go back in my history and put the link to his live stream in my description on this one, because he really did give a good understanding of how the jail system works there, especially being that he has personal first-hand experience being in that jail and knowing how it works. So he went on to explain how we really can't expect, and this is common sense, but he went on to explain how we really can't expect Jackie and Trezell as individuals to be like closely associated. We can't automatically expect that just because one thing happens with Jackie, then it's automatically going to happen with Trezell at the same time, and vice versa, because basically their relationship as it ever was is completely different now. There is no longer that oneness. It's two separate people being dealt with by the legal system, and so even if the processes and the steps are going to be the same for them, they may not necessarily happen for each of them at the same time or simultaneously. It might happen for Jackie one day and Trezell a week or two later. So I guess that's really all I wanted to say. I don't really want to be on here too long. I was just having some thoughts. Oh, also, in that same live stream with AV, he played the video clip of that chick that's saying that her kids are lost in the system or whatever. And I really wanted to express an opinion on that, because as I was watching her, the thought that came to my mind is just a money grab. Okay, we know that, and I've read this, I cannot remember which news agency, but I read that the family of Classic and Cincere has filed a lawsuit against DCF and the foster care system or whatever, and I believe against the Wests as well, personally, related to what's going on with Classic and Cincere and what happened to them. And to me, it sounds as if that woman is basically just trying to catch on to that train and get some money or whatever. Because as I listened to her explaining what she was saying, she specifically said that her children were adopted out in 2018. She said they were adopted out to the Wests in 2018. In order for them to be adopted out to the Wests or anyone else, that means that before that point, her parental rights had to be terminated legally. Once your parental rights are legally terminated, you have no rights over that child. It's as if they're not your children anymore. They may be biologically yours, but from every legal standpoint, you're not their mother. They're not your children. You have no rights to information about them. You have no rights to make any decisions about them, to make any requests as far as their care, their placement, nothing. It's as if they're total strangers to you. You would have as much right to access information or to be told anything about them as any Joe Blow coming in off the street and saying, hey, I want to know about this kid. It just doesn't work that way. So she legally lost her parental rights. Someone also sent AV her background check, which was 23 pages long during that live, and she has cruelty to a child charges from 2018, I believe it was. It was either 2017 or 2018. So that may play into the reason her children were removed and why she lost her parental rights and why they were eventually adopted out. So, that being said, her children are not actually lost in the system the way that she is presenting it. They may be lost to her because she doesn't know where they are, or and she can't get answers because she's not legally entitled to have answers concerning those children since they're no longer legally hers. So I kind of feel like that that's just a money grab. She's probably just trying to work up on a way to file a lawsuit. Also, a lot of the information that she was saying is proven not true. Like she said that since she was a ward of the state, she had basically been in state custody since she was 2 years old. I believe she said her parents both went to prison for murder, and so she had been basically in and out of foster care in different group homes and places and stuff since she was 2 years old, a ward of the state. She said that because she was a ward of the state, then the state of California has a legal right to take any child she ever has with or without cause. That's basically the way that she presented it. Well, the newscaster received some information from Protective Services that contradicts that. With the state of California cannot take children of parents who were wards of the state simply because that parent was a ward of the state. There has to be other cause. The same as if just someone who has not been, this is my understanding now, the same as if, say, someone who had never been even in foster care or had been a ward of the state or anything like that, the state cannot just come in and take their child. There has to be a reason. There has to be abuse. There has to be neglect. There has to be some issue with the child's health or well-being. And so basically what the Protective Service Agency said was that uh, those same stipulations apply to children, to parents who were wards of the state. The state can't just come in and say, oh, you were a ward of state, let me take your child. There has to be a reason. There has to be other cause. So I don't put much stock in what she was talking about. And was there anything else? I think that's about it. Guys, thanks for joining me for this just little quick. I just wanted to kind of say those few things because I have been thinking. Um, let me look at the chat real quick and see what's been said. All right. Sherry said yes, they forced them to lie or clean up. Yeah, it could be just that simple. I think Duty Ron started that, forced the kids to kill. He did. That's where I originally heard it, was from Duty Ron. And I don't discredit what he says because he is speaking from having over 20 years worth of experience. But I think that he should have made it more clear that that was a possibility and not an absolute fact. Not like that's absolutely what happened. Frank, Sherry, thanks for joining me, guys. Absolutely love y'all. Glad to always see y'all in my chat. And I doubt if I will be going live tonight because it's Friday night. So the G babies are probably going to want to have a movie night. They were already talking about it. There's some movie that my grandbaby really wants me to see. She said, it's so sad, it made me cry. You got to watch it. It's a short. So I'm like, why do you want me to watch a sad movie? She's like, because it's good. And so we'll probably be having a movie night tonight. If I can get a chance over the weekend, I may do a quick live. If not, I'll definitely catch you guys Monday. Thanks for joining again. See y'all later.